thank you so much for your time today. I'm such a big fan, so I appreciate you chatting with me today.
Thank you. That's very nice. Thanks for talking to me.
Absolutely. So I was going through your IMDb page today
Mm,
and counted up your credits from 2023.
mm.
15 projects this year.
That's
Um,
that's scary.
yeah, my first question is, do you need a nap? Aren't you tired? Are you okay?
You're like blink twice. No, I'm okay. I think. Let's hope. We'll find out. There'll be less next year, I'm sure. But yeah, it's weird. It's like the culmination of like 3 or 4 years of work, of like just popping in to do voiceover, of like getting a script and working on it, or getting it off or whatever. So it's pretty wild, but yes, I am okay.
Good, good.
But I would take a nap.
Good, good. Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. You've been working consistently. Like from the outside, it feels like a little bit of an explosion. Does it feel like that to you, or does it just feel like you said, the culmination of hard work over a few years?
Yeah, I think just the culmination, and it is a bit strange. I do this podcast sometimes, Hollywood Handbook, and they have this joke about I just knew you would know. I feel like there's probably, but they had this joke where they're like, honey, she's breaking out again. But that's how I feel sometimes, where I'm like, oh, people are just like discovering me. I even felt that way like last year with like Barry, where people are like, where'd she come from? She's 19 years old. And I'm like, I am almost 30, and I have been writing and doing comedy for many, many years, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy that we're all meeting each other now. So,
Yes. Yes. Amazing. Well, we do have to talk about The Bear, obviously.
Mm.
I mean, it's just the best show on TV. It is
Oh,
just
that's nice.
it's just incredible. Every project is a risk. You never really know how it's going to turn out. Even if you have fun doing it, it might not turn out well. When did you
Oh,
start
yeah.
to realize that The Bear wasn't just pretty good, but it was like
Mm.
something maybe pretty big?
I don't really, I mean, I think it was like the Halloween of last year where I was like, people are dressing up as us, huh? Because it's one thing, I think, to be a part of something that people like receive critically. But then, maybe not a lot of people watch it. I've experienced that like on a writing side, or being a part of something where a lot of people watch it, but maybe people aren't really responding as positively critically. And so it was like very surreal. Um, yeah, it was just really surreal. Yeah, I think that's my answer.
That's great. That's great. And after the explosion of attention from The Bear season 1, coming into season 2, how did it feel different, or did it feel different stepping back into the role of Sydney this time around?
I think as soon as we got, the pages and all got back to Chicago, it didn't feel different. Like we were able to find that feeling. But for some of earlier this year, wow, we make this show really fast. um we were going to like award shows on the weekend, and so that was like the hopping in and out of like that intimacy and that smallness into like, then suddenly we're all in like glam, and we're looking very different from how we look in Chicago. That element of it was definitely interesting, and also just we were more tired, like there were more eyes on us. And I think we like the challenge was, yeah, okay, like how do we find each other again and make this feel small. But I think we did our best.
Yeah, I think it turned out pretty well. Yes. And the Bear season 2 is kind of unique in that it's pretty structurally different from the first season, especially for your character, who goes from kind of being a mentee and learning to really being a strong co-lead in the second season. How did your prep differ this time around?
um I spent more time just cooking, and I think just kind of going over like all the scripts, really to get a sense of the flow of the whole season. But I think honestly, like, and I just was on set more, but I think in terms of prep, really it was the same, and it kind of had to be the same. Like, I think because at the core of it, Sydney is still the same, and she still is somebody who has like unrelenting drive and just wants to do her best, and kind of doesn't have any shame about it. And so I think I like, I don't know, it's such an ensemble piece too in a way. And so I think it's like I just wanted to just do my best. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's a good answer, but
it's
it's
a great
fine.
answer. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
and
fine.
one of the reasons we love The Bear is how naturalistic it feels.
Yeah.
So I was wondering what it's like, the actual shooting process. Is there much of a rehearsal process? Are you guys holding pretty close to the written word, or is the process as naturalistic as it seems from the outside?
I think for me it feels pretty naturalistic, but we're scripted, and that's really compliments to the writers and the room for just writing such amazing dialogue that it like feels like people think like we're improvising. And there is improv, but it's like it's rarely spoken improv. It's like, actions and things you surprise each other with in that way. But yeah, I mean, we get the scripts. We're very fortunate to get them like ahead of time, and we get all of them. Um, just knocked on wood that happens again this season. But I think that gives us a lot of time to prepare emotionally and like know the arc of what we're going to do. And then if it's a bigger sequence, like the ninth episode in the first season, or the finale in the second season, where it's like big one take shots, then we will have rehearsals prior, like days prior. But even that, it's like a week or less. They're obviously doing prep on the production side to make sure all of that is like ready, but a lot of it is kind of like, it's like a cooking class. Really, it is. It's like it's all set up for you to succeed. Like we show up, and Chris and Drew and who's our DP, and the camera team, they know where we're going to be, and it makes sense that that's where we're going to be, because we're in a kitchen and we have stations in the kitchen, and it all just like makes sense. And we shoot pretty quickly as well. We do like an episode a week usually, and then like are sometimes like doubling as well. And so it just like goes. And I think also it's like we try to show up as prepared as possible. If we have questions or concerns, it's like we have enough time when we get the scripts, and like we talk to each other to try to bring those things up, so that like when it's on the day, you show up and you're at 100 already.
That's good.
Very, very efficient ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's made me a little bit spoiled, honestly. I'm like, what do you mean we're not gonna get this done in 2 takes? Coverage, huh? What?
That's so good. Well, they are giving me the wrap. I've got time for one more question. I wish I had more time to ask about bottoms. I had so many more questions for you, but before I let you go, you and I have something in common, and that is our experience in the Pentecostal church.
Whoa, my
Yes,
boy.
yes.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
How you doing?
Filled with the Holy Spirit. That's what I am. So I don't know exactly what your experience was like, but I found the experience. I found there's a really performative nature to the Pentecostal church. So I was just curious, was that your first taste of either seeing kind of performance in a way, or performing yourself in that way?
1,000%. I think my first exposures to music, to performing in front of people, you better believe I had a singing duo with my first boyfriend. We never did anything. Don't worry, we were holy. And we would just like sing like gospel songs in front of the whole church, and try to like do little sermons and write little sermons together, sickos. But yeah, I mean, like I think so much about like my stand-up, about the way that I think about like a script when I read it, is like the musicality of the words. So much of like convincing people and making them feel can really just be like in the music of how you speak. I'm also like weirdly good at ADR, not a brag, but I know that I am because I'm like, oh, I hear like words like no, like I know what you want me to say, but also it's like because I've had like years of like call and response training and like yeah, I think also like I do have such a soft spot for when I think things do feel like intimate and communal in that way, because like I'm basically predisposed to have a soft spot for that. Yeah. Wow. Where
So
were you?
good.
Where were you Pentecosting?
Uh, Church of God, Tennessee.
Whoa.
That was mine. That was mine. What denomination were you?
Our church was called Refuge Temple Apostolic Church.
Okay, okay.
Yes, but it was OG. It
Amazing.
was a lot of Afro-Caribbean people throwing down
Oh man.
multiple days a week,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and every first Saturday of the month to clean the church as well.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go. Well, so I am going to throw in one more question about bottoms in here before I leave,
Yeah,
just so I
let's do
have,
it.
so we cover that a little bit. How different was the process of shooting bottoms from, obviously you've known Rachel Sennett for many years, been friends.
Yeah.
How different was the process of shooting bottoms from shooting Ayo and Rachel Are Single back in 2020?
Very different, if you can imagine. So the Comedy Central sketch series that we shot in a diner in Queens, sort of upped the budget for sure. The budget was upped, but it was also really nice, I think, to find each other again after we had worked on that, done stand-up at shows together and hung out as friends. But it was really, I think, kind of amazing for the both of us to see the places that we had grown since that last point in our confidence, in our abilities to show up, in our producerial, skills, like, and also in just our ability to like, kind of zoom out and like still be in a scene and still be present, but also be aware of like what is happening. Like we are in a set, like, hitting our marks and making sure we're like adjusting to the lighting because we can feel they made a change. Just things like that. I think I was really impressed by Rachel and just very proud of her and like the ways that she showed up. And it was really cool to like, I don't know, obviously I love her, she's my friend, but I was like, I love you as a professional, dog. Like you're really, yeah, man, you're just so good. And I think we've said this, but like it felt like we were sharing a brain. Like we knew what the scenes needed and how to give that to each other and just electrify each other. And we were just doing it in the pursuit of making something as stupid as possible. The most honest thing one can do.
When are you writing a role for her? She wrote one for you here.
Hey, I'm always cooking for my girl. When are they gonna give me the money to do it? That's the question. I would love to though.
Amazing. Ayo, thank you so much. Hey, if we ever run into each other again, we can share some trauma.
For sure. Yeah. We can lay a hand and just
lay hands.
yeah.
Yes. Exactly.